my group chats and annoy them. Hey guys,
Get
come
them.
listen to me. We do a podcast.
It's a fun podcast.
We talk about music.
This ad supports Twitch.
We do support Twitch.
Yeah, because we're not partnered because we don't stream enough.
We stream like once a week, approximately.
They want you to stream 7 times a month for a total of like 8 hours or something like that.
And that's asking too much.
That is a lot.
If you do a weekly podcast, that's kind of hard to do. There's never 7 weeks in 1 month.
Except for February.
Once every 330 years when there's the Super February.
Super February.
12 months.
12-month February. That's my favorite month of the year.
Can you imagine? That'd be awful. And it was still winter that whole time.
I don't think that's how weather works.
I know, but this is a hypothetical we're talking about here.
No, that's true. That's true.
Well, I gotta mute my phone.
Mute your phone.
Don't want it going off in the middle of the recording.
You guys do anything interesting this weekend? Anything fun?
I'm rewatching The Ancient Magus Bride with my brother's fiance.
Now she's really a part of the family.
Matt,
Yeah.
I just assume whenever I don't know what you're doing, you're watching Ancient Magus Bride.
That's kind of the default state of
Wow.
Matt.
I've only seen it 9 times.
Okay, that's a lot. I'll say it.
I got some new profile pictures for Twitch and Twitter
Ooh,
from a friend of mine. I commissioned him.
I saw with the little little bug things or sheep,
The woolly bugs.
the woolly bugs from Pokemon.
I haven't seen
No,
it.
that's not it at all. They're from the Ancient Magus Bride. And then my Twitter is a Meta Knight JoJo hybrid thing.
Oh, you showed me
Which
the
is-
pre of that one.
The pre, the behind
Yeah.
the scenes.
It was a rough draft. I was like, Sam, you're gonna love this.
Did you
And then-
love it?
He said it was all right.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it now. That is pretty great.
Are you on Twitter?
Yes. Stand Master, Matt. Stand
Oh,
name. Meta Breaker.
What was I doing? There we go. Okay.
That's cute. Oh man. What are you doing, Sam?
Oh, I was just sending out the texts.
Oh, the texts. Get the people in. Yeah, no.
Wow,
I
and
feel like
instantly up to 5. I think it worked.
we did it, gang.
5
We
has
get to
been
double
our
digits
peak
this time.
ever.
The one time I'm on this podcast, you guys are actually on time. It's amazing.
But we're always
we're
on
on-
time.
We're on time occasionally. I like to think. Also, we're going to be going a bit long on this episode. I got the feeling.
This is quite the long album, and it also, if you guys disagree with me, I'll only take it personally.
Good.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's a meaty, hefty album.
You gotta ham it up for performance. Like, what was it? The week Cooper and I fought a ton, and I still gave it a really high rating.
Wait, which one was that again?
I think I was gonna punch you.
That was that was Hawaii Part 2 when we fought on
Yeah.
the last song for like 10 minutes, and then I still rated it. Like, we both rated it showroom or something.
I was about to say, I'm like,
I was gonna punch you at the end of that. I felt like I should have punched you.
Why?
Because that was so much BS.
That's showbiz, baby.
that's showbiz, baby. I guess this is opinion based, so there is no facts. This is a fact-free zone.
My opinion is
Well,
fact.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Nothing we say here has to be corroborated. Ever.
Yeah, but Sam's always wrong, so it's fine.
That
No,
is
that's-
true.
That is blatantly false.
Well, maybe not always wrong, but certainly like 80 to 85% of the time.
No.
Yeah, see, there's one of them.
Hey,
Already going strong.
Yeah, you just brought it up to 86%.
listen, I found Hawaii Part 2 for us to listen to.
You did, and it was a good album.
And I still listen to it.
Like, of course you listened to it. That we reviewed it.
No, I'm saying I still listen to it.
Oh yeah. I've listened to it. Some of the songs a couple times since then. It's
Mind Electric. Ooh.
It's a good song. White Ball. Ooh. Black Rainbows.
All
That
fantastic.
doesn't make any sense.
But we're not talking about white or black because today we're talking about green.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
'Cause-
Uh-huh.
Get it?
I get uh-huh.
Hey, there we go. And I'm just getting warmed up.
All right, I finished my frozen yogurt.
You,
Okay, well.
you should get another one.
No, I only have a.
And make sure to hold it closer to the mic.
Yeah,
No,
I want to get that ASMR experience.
I only have a small scoop of frozen yogurt after I exercise at night.
Oh well, that's good.
However, I do have 4 of the baby cups over here that I use for it stacked up on my desk in shame, so I should probably take those downstairs.
I like having a nice banana with a little bit of peanut butter.
Now, are we talking regular peanut butter or like the natural peanut butter that has like no added sugar, so it tastes really peanut buttery?
Sometimes I use almond butter if I'm feeling a little bit frisky.
I had
got
that
a
for
very
the
nice
first time.
texture.
It's very runny.
Almond butter?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind you're getting. Mine's like the opposite of runny. It's very
Oh.
thick.
Okay. Well, the kind that I got was like it was actually like more like soup than.
I like how Sam, you're like, wait, what did I eat then?
No, it was
This-
almond butter.
It didn't say almond butter. It was just a jar. I just assumed it was almond butter.
I drained like a tablespoon and a half of oil off the top of it.
Yeah, no, I don't know where you're getting that from.
I don't know.
Maybe just like a
Slurp,
different
slurp.
brand.
Yeah, you could have drank it. It was like a thick milkshake,
Ooh, peanut butter milkshake.
except it was almond butter.
Almond butter milkshake.
I don't think that would be very good.
Oh man. Oh, you guys wanna jump into it? Get going with the with our review. I figure we might as well start early.
Yeah.
Start early, you say?
Yeah. Get this gravy train rolling.
Are you gonna do the?
Oh,
What's wrong, Cooper?
you know, Sam. Just I don't like to get political on our podcast, but the world's just so effed up. If only there was some sort of punk album that came from the late 2000s that could just fill me with rage and anger at the system, you know?
Well, there is.
Matthew! Is this our good friend Matthew appearing on our podcast as a guest?
It is I, Matthias, aka Protoswarm, aka Matt, aka
He's done it.
Matthew.
He's done it. He's on.
I'm here to introduce you to 21st Century Breakdown, my first Green Day album I listened to, and my favorite.
Ooh, well, give him a little bit of spoilers here.
Ooh.
Don't dox
Oh, yeah?
yourself there, Matt. You gave away all forms of identity at once.
And here's my social security number.
Gamers, Matt needs your help. Give him the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card. Otherwise,
Yeah,
he
no,
won't be able to listen to Green Day ever again.
Oh, that would be bad. Because Green Day is, in fact, your favorite album, Matt.
Green Day is my favorite album.
Yeah, you say that all the time. Oh
Yeah, you
yeah,
say-
Green Day is my
That's-
favorite album.
That's my favorite band.
You say,
Yeah,
Are you guys okay?
I love Green Day, the album. Billy Joel is my favorite lead singer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but no, in case you guys were wondering, we're listening to 21st Century Breakdown by Green Day. So you're in for a treat today because we're doing the whole album, the whole, 120 minutes?
Is it? No, it's not.
100
pretty
and,
long.
100,
108?
110 minutes, yeah.
110.
So-
Okay.
Oh, a 10-minute difference. How critical.
Hey,
It is.
Yeah, it makes up. It's a chunky album, so strap
You would have been
in.
late if you had to do the extra 10 minutes, Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I finished this by 5 today. Okay, I was done early. I didn't go up to the bell this time.
No. We all have our notes and we're ready to go into it. So I guess we'll start with a little bit of a historical background. Do you want to take this one away, Matt, since you are familiar with the band?
Yeah. So Green Day is a rock band, punk rock band formed in 1986 in California. They didn't form under the name Green Day though. I think it was like something Sweet Baby, whatever.
The
It's a
Green
very
Day's better.
strange name. And then they eventually switched it over to Green Day. They weren't really on the map until their album Dookie, released in 1994, made
Dookie.
waves. And then, of course, everyone knows American Idiot in 2004, which, by the way, it's their 15-year anniversary Friday. This last Friday was the 15-year anniversary.
You mean Canadian Idiot, Matt?
What?
By
No,
Weird
how-
Al. I don't know
And
any
how
other
was-
songs.
Are you sure it was their 15-year anniversary? They were formed in 1986.
No, I said the American Idiots
Okay. I thought you meant the band.
15-year anniversary. No, the band is like, what, 26 years?
No,
Yeah.
they're 30. 30, like 3.
Huh.
They're-
Yeah,
yeah, they've been going at it for a while.
The more you know.
Wait, what? Sorry, I missed that. What was the anniversary?
It was, well, the anniversary was 15-year anniversary for American Idiot,
Okay.
the album. And then it took a whole 5 years to release 21st Century Breakdown. It was a very slow process, apparently a very frustrating one, because the lead singer refused to share his lyrics up until the last minute.
Just with anyone?
Yeah, with anyone, even the band members. It was
Oh,
like up
that's-
until the last minute he finally shared them and like put them into the mixes. Because when they recorded something, he would mix the song so that the lyrics were unintelligible to everyone else.
Why would he do that?
They said it's one of his most personal albums that he's ever written. He felt very close to it. And at the end, in an interview, the band stated that they felt a kind of postpartum depression.
Oh wow. So this was
Which
a
I guess it's understandable if you like
Spent
worked
5 years
all
on
day
it.
and night for 5 years on this album.
Postpartum depression. What you get after you're pregnant?
Yeah,
after
it's like
you
they
have a
gave birth
child.
to this album, and now they're sad that it's like out in the world.
Oh, okay. I was very confused there for a second. Like, wait,
Billy
isn't this-
Joel Armstrong didn't actually give birth to an album.
I see.
No, yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, so the vocalist is Billy Joel Armstrong. Then you got
Yeah.
the other two members, Mike and
Mike-
Dirnt.
Mike Dirnt, the bassist, and Trey Cool, the drummer.
There's
Trey
no way that's
Cool.
his real name.
It's
Trey Cool,
not,
he's-
but you know
He's
what?
so cool. He's so
I mean,
cool.
I'm pretty
he's
sure he
really
actually
cool.
legally changed it to that, but yeah, definitely not his original name.
No one names their kid Trey
Yeah.
Cool.
His original name is, get this, Frank Edwin Wright III.
Why on earth would he change it? That's such a cool
Oh, I
name.
get it. He's the third, so he's Trey Cool. Okay, that's clever.
Okay.
I'll take it. But yeah, so Green Day, obviously a very successful band. 85 million records sold worldwide. They got 5 Grammys. They got a Broadway musical. So you know, not exactly underground
Yeah,
anymore.
that was a great musical too. I saw it.
Oh wow, you've
course
seen
you
the
did.
musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually their highest charting album.
As it should be.
Of all time. So obviously that 5 years in the oven really paid off.
So for those of you listening at home, as I hope several years down the line, there's several dozen of you that have heard this podcast. Matt is a bit of an edgelord, and lives
Wow,
and
this is an
breathes Green
introduction
Day.
I always dreamed of.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I haven't corrected you.
There we go. So it's
Hemblow.
it's a very edgy album for a very edgy man.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
it is punk. I mean, so it's attempting to.
It's a more pop rock album, but there are definitely punk elements in it. Very high energy.
Very
at
punky,
least-
I'd say.
I feel like it's very split 50-50. Especially a lot of the songs, I guess I won't spoil them, but they're kind of hybrid-esque
Yeah.
of starting slow and then going hard,
Yeah, that's kind of a running theme throughout the album.
which is something that tickles my fancy. So I have I guess a bias because it's something I just really love in songs when there's a dynamic to it.
Kind of progresses as it goes along.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I figure, yeah. So we got the backstory out of the way. We might as well dive right into the album. And it should be noted this album's actually divided into 3 different acts. So we're beginning with act number 1, Heroes and Cons. And with song number 1 on act number 1, what's that? Song of the Century.
Now, before we get into this, I have a little preface. I have very little experience with, I put in quotes grunge, but this is apparently punk, so I'll change that quotes to punk. Anyway, I like to think of myself as a bit of a master's student in an electronic and classical music, but this is kind of like my first day of class in punk, so...
I feel like
you think of yourself as
a master in electronical.
Yeah.
I've listened to almost all of the ELO albums.
I have listened to all of them multiple times.
Ooh, well, there you go. But yeah, this one's, I'm not very familiar with punk as well. So, and I haven't really listened to Green Day at all either. So this is also a bit of my intro. So Matt, you're being our guide, our Charon across the river Styx, so to speak.
That's well and good, but since this isn't a punk rock album, you guys should be fine. It's a pop rock album.
It's got some punk elements.
If you listen to a true pop rock album, this is not pop rock. This is punk rock.
Matt, we've reviewed well over 13 albums.
I've listened to at least 12 songs in the past.
Punk rock is this is not punk rock.
Yeah, it's definitely
some songs that are punk rock-esque, but this is definitely not punk rock. This is definitely leaning way more towards pop rock.
Definitely not the hardest hitting album of in terms of attitude, but it's got some in there.
Poop rock.
So, and we can see that in the first song, "Song of the Century," which is really just like sounds kind of like a Civil War dirge. It's like just a little ditty, a little vocal only ditty.
Yeah, this is a very nice song to lead into it. It kind of is ominous with the whole radio filter, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, it kind of leads into a more romantic and poetic melody and message of like something about technology, but it like just has a juxtaposition of the advancement of technology and then stuff like "Tell Us a Story That's by Candlelight."
Yeah,
that's like a lot more than I had to say. I just like the sound effect, and I wouldn't really call this a song as it's 50 seconds.
Well, it's like an intro. It's
an intro, but it's nice, and yeah.
And it leads into the second song of the album, 21st Century Breakdown, the title track. And this one really goes into it. It's an actual song.
Yeah,
this is a very long song.
Long?
It's 5 minutes.
5 minutes is pretty normal.
It's pretty long. I mean, all the songs on this album are about 4 to 5 minutes.
I'm pretty sure this is the longest song on the album.
Yeah, that's actually 21 Guns.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, and I think we're just used to after listening to Panic at the Disco, and each song's like less than 3 minutes.
I mean, a 5-minute song is still a pretty long song.
It's above average.
Yeah,
but it still does it well.
And I think it does, because it kind of has that soft intro like you're talking about, Matt. And then it kind of builds up into this kind of ballad-esque rock and roll song.
Yeah, fun story about that is both me and my brother made this mistake of when we were first listening to this as kids. When we started out the song, it started off really low, so we turned up our volume to hear it because we thought we just had our mic or like volume low, and then it just went really loud, really fast, and hurt our ears.
So don't do that, gang.
Don't do that.
Just a little warning there. But yeah, so this, because it does go pretty loud once the actual song kicks in, with Billy's vocals kind of going over the strum and guitar. The percussion obviously kicks in. And it's got a little bit of an electric solo in the second half as well.
Yeah, it's got very 2000 style singing. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. It's like a certain amount of like nasally. I don't know. There's just something that's like, oh yeah, that absolutely sounds like it came out in the 2000s. I feel like there's not, and this is kind of a theme throughout the whole thing. There's a lot going on vocally all the time. Like the focus is very much on the lyrics and the vocals in this, and there's not always a whole lot going on with the instruments. Sometimes there are, I'll say that, but Usually it's kind of repetitive guitar lines and drum lines just going on underneath. I don't know if you have anything to say on that one, Matt.
For 21st Century Breakdown.
Yeah.
So if we can easily split this up into two different halves, right? The first half kind of leaning towards the middle-aged group of people who don't like the coming of technology and politics advancing, and things saying like video games of the towers fall, 9/11 and Homeland Security could kill us all. So I agree with your point that that's a very repetitive melody and such, with at least for instrumentals and drums. But when we get to the second half, which is more on the
bongo breakdown.
There's like many different layers of instrumentals that I appreciate, and that combined with the outro, I think, is a lot more dynamic. So I have to half agree with you, I guess, because half the song seems like that.
Yeah, and I do like that outro that you were mentioning. It kind of has almost like a. It reminds me of whenever you're at like a football stadium and someone plays like the national anthem on an electric guitar. I'm like, God bless, I'm feeling patriotic to this Green Day song.
It's very rock opera esque outro, I felt.
Yeah, which is good because that's a very strong opener then for a rock opera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense given the fact that this really is kind of a rock opera.
Now, there was something I noticed. This isn't commenting on the music. It might just be on Spotify. But did you guys notice that, like, in some of the songs, there's just a sudden, like, dim for a second?
Like a dim in volume?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't notice that at all.
There's one, like, right at the 4-minute mark on Spotify. I don't know what it is. It's just like somebody turned the volume down for, like, half a second and turned it back up.
I don't know
it was
what you're mentioning.
And it happens a lot throughout all of the songs. I'm wondering if, like, maybe the waveform makes a picture or something. I could totally see somebody in the 2000s doing that.
No, I'm not sure.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can find anything on this.
The Green Day, I'm not sure Green Day is technologically advanced enough to be doing waveforms in their music, but maybe.
Right now they're complaining about technology in this entire album. So
if the waveform just reads, "We hate technology," that'd be kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it probably doesn't. Yeah, but if that's all you guys got to say, we can move on to track number 3, Know Your Enemy. This one's pretty rocking as well. This one definitely gives me kind of a...
This is more of a punk rock feel.
That kind of 90s punk vibe.
Punk rock, by definition, kind of is very high energy, repetitive.
This one definitely is repetitive.
If there's one thing that I say all the time, it's repetition, and oh boy.
But you just say everything's repetitive, so...
Well, I'm not wrong, though.
That's literally music.
No, not to this extent.
Well, this
is just the style. I understand. Yeah, this is very repetitive. It's catchy though, very catchy.
It does have a very strong hook to be repetitive around. This one's definitely been stuck in my head before. Do you know your enemy?
I feel like there's not enough going on with the vocal line for it to be an earworm and to be this repetitive. Like later on, there's a couple later where they do the same kind of style, and the melody of the vocals is much better, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm down for this. But this one is just not. There's nothing going on. It's just kind of there.
Well, you also have to think about it again. I guess the point of rock opera aspects. We didn't explain too much what was being said in 21st Century Breakdown, but Know Your Enemy is supposed to be more of a, I guess, a militaristic, song of revolution, trying to get people up. So it's kind of meant to be a steady pace, kind of
intentionally
repetitive, and just like smack those messages into you like constantly.
You know what else is repetitive? The clicking of a turn signal. I wouldn't call that music.
Okay, why are you being so mean to Know Your Enemy?
That doesn't even make sense. There's an intent behind it. It's poetic. And you just don't like anything.
An intent behind the turn signal.
You don't like anything.
I'm just here to push your buttons.
You hate fun.
I'm just here to push your buttons.
Yeah, but I do agree that it is repetitive. But I think at least it has like a strong enough like hook and guitar lines to prop it up for the runtime of the song.
Yeah.
If this was a 5-minute song, it'd be a little.
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
No.
For the
it's
length,
one of the
it's
shorter
fine,
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the breakdown in this one too. They're consistently, well, I'll say consistently since I've listened to the whole album at this point, but their breakdowns are consistently very, very good throughout the whole album.
Yeah, they're good at mixing up their songs enough. This album's like what, hour 10 minutes, and it felt pretty fresh the entire way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, you can definitely feel the length, but it didn't feel nearly as long as Panic at the Disco.
And that one was like what, 30 minutes long, so
Yeah, half the length.
I didn't feel the length, but I also listened to the album like 1.5 times a single day when we first set this up, just to get a refresher on it.
That's a lot, Matt.
But yeah, so we can move on to the next song, Viva la Gloria, track number 4.
I'm going to have to copy and paste this one. I don't have the Spanish exclamation mark on my keyboard.
But yeah, Viva la Gloria. So this one also starts with a pretty running theme of this album. It kind of starts with soft piano with just Billy Joel playing over it. And then the violins come in. And very pretty.
I really love the violins and it was like a really deep drum that was happening.
Oh yeah.
I love when they go slow on this. They always have a great piano player. They put some beautiful strings on it. And Billy Joel is great at singing nice and quiet and slow, and that's nice.
Yeah, then it of course it pops off. Mm-hmm. It goes into its main chorus, but the kind of Billy going with the Gloria off and off. And I kind of like
the switch is really glory. Well done though.
With the drum going and then blasting off.
Yeah.
Is very nice. It didn't felt like you were just slammed in the face. The drum kind of progressed it very well.
Yeah, it feels very natural.
Honestly, this entire album, they're very good at keeping these kind of disparate parts kind of working together. The only time it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way was way later in the album, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I think it works very good here.
The only complaint I had about this one is I really wish they had incorporated the strings and piano throughout the whole song. But that didn't.
Like kind of layered in the background.
Yeah, that didn't really feel like it would go with the genre of this song, though. As much as I wanted it.
Oh, yeah, I would have loved that too. I have another one of the things I really love is violin and electric guitar put together. That just ooh.
Well, do I have a band for you, Matt?
None of that weak sauce. Anyway.
Ooh, ouch.
Viva la Gloria. Yeah, so I guess it introduces one of our main characters. There's two, Gloria and Christian. And she's kind of like a symbol of hope and vengeance. And this song is kind of telling her to not give up after whatever just happened.
Oh, Christian's a character?
Christian's a character, not like Christian a religion.
I thought they were just very anti-religion.
See, that's what I thought at first too, but also there are songs in this that are anti-religion.
I mean, East Jesus Nowhere is not exactly church positive.
Also, yeah, fun fact about East Jesus Nowhere, he wrote that right after he went to his friend's child's baptism.
Nice.
Must have been a really bad baptism. Oh man. But yeah, moving on from that, we can go into track number 5, Before the Lobotomy. And I very much enjoyed this song.
I love it, especially the intro and outro, like the way they played those two was phenomenal.
Because it starts with another soft intro. This time it's drum and guitar. Billy Joel's singing over it. And then it goes in this kind of electronic, really heavy guitar section, which I don't like as much as the first half, but it's still, it's good Green Day. But then at the end, the soft melody from the beginning comes in going over the electric guitar, and they kind of like combine with the synergistic energy. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
I will say the swap in this one from the acoustic to the hard electric section in the middle, not as well done as Viva la Gloria, I don't think. It's not terrible, but it just felt a little bit, after the smoothness of the last one, you're like, oh, that one's got a bit of a hiccup to it, it felt like.
Yeah, maybe a little. But the way it kind of melts together later, I think, makes up for it.
Very, very slight, but having just listened to those back to back, I was like, oh, that wasn't as smooth as the past one. Had a little bit of tug to it.
A little tug. Well, I will say on this one, this is the first song of the album, I think, where I'm I really like Billy's vocals. Obviously, they're very 2000s punk-esque throughout. That's just his style. But here, I think, especially for kind of the strum guitar, he hit some good notes, and it's got a lot of character to it.
Yeah.
You didn't think that in 21st Century Breakdown?
No, I mean, it's not like he's a bad singer.
Awful.
But like up to this point, I wasn't like super impressed by it.
He's
It was
terrible.
just-
I see what you mean. Okay.
like it was a very, if you listen to like 90s, like, 90s punk, 90s kind of thing, it's very typical of that.
Yeah.
Where it's not necessarily bad singing, but like, it's not exactly like professional singing either.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. With
He
the
doesn't show off a
2000s.
wide vocal range.
No.
Not as wide as, some people. I mean, not everyone has to be Panic at the Disco, but this guy, but I think on this song it really shows that he's got some range, and he can hit those higher notes.
The one part that really stuck out to me in this one was they cut the instruments right in the middle when he sings whiskey shots and cheap cigarettes. That added a lot of depth to the song. I thought that was really nice.
Oomph.
That's a good moment.
Yeah.
This song's full of good moments. And this one, I'm like, okay, this album's pretty good. I'm excited going into this.
Yeah. And the like we already said, the swap back to acoustic at the end, brings it down. It's so important to bring the songs down at the end if you're doing a really high power kind of thing, because that way, if you jump straight into another high energy song, you're not getting fatigued at all.
Like
you have a chance
whiplash.
to relax. Exactly. But you don't have to keep going up and up and up with power level. Otherwise, it feels like you can't go from high to low over a break. You got to go down within the song. So I really enjoyed that.
The structure of this album itself it's definitely not like just songs thrown together. These songs are put in a very intentional order, and I appreciate that. I mean,
This
they're put
song-
to acts.
Yeah. This is an actual story, an actual opera. And this one introduces Christian, our second main character, who I believe, based off the song, I actually never looked up the real story, but this is what I think
Interpreted.
it's about. Is Christian was a soldier who got hit in battle and he had a lobotomy. And this is kind of like him getting messed up by all this, is with whiskey shots and cheap cigarettes, and telling him to remember to learn to forget.
Oh, okay.
And that it said Christian's lessons is what he's been sold. So he's kind of like the system's messing him up and telling him to be okay with what's been happening when clearly it's not okay for him.
Man, Green Day speaking the truth.
Jump into track number 6 then, if you guys are ready.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Christian's Inferno.
Yeah, so things do not get better for Christian. I'm guessing
This is actually detailing his first day of work at the new doggy daycare that opened up in his town, and he did not have a good time.
He's allergic.
Yep.
This song's actually 5 minutes of sneezing.
Controversial
Breaking
pick,
edge.
but actually I think my favorite on the album.
You can really tell Trey Cool's contributions on this song. But now this is like the first on this half, kind of the first kind of dark, edgy song, I think. Like obviously all the songs have had the punk undertone, but this one's got like a bit of a looming feel to it.
And definitely I feel it's more like opera-esque, like definitely intended to tell a story rather than be a song, like a
Yeah.
standalone song.
The driving drum beat is really nice though.
Yeah.
Trey Cool, yeah. What do you think I was saying, Sam?
Sorry.
I really liked the maniacal laughter in it. I thought it would be like too cheesy, but it's honestly not that bad, and I think it's actually good.
It's so cliche though.
I mean,
Well,
it's cheesy, but I think it's cheese applied in the right situation.
I didn't
it's
take it
applied
as
well.
I didn't take it as they
it works
understood
well
they
with
were
the
being
bass
cheesy.
line.
Yeah.
I took it as a bit tongue in cheek, but I can see if you take it as like being like straight edge, kind of not really
it did
taking
not
Yeah,
it
sound
straight
tongue in
edge, like
cheek, yeah.
standalone song, not meant to be a story. Then yeah, I can totally see like, oh, this is cheesy, super like.
Yeah,
But I think it kind of with the darker edge, it kind of goes with it.
Yeah, I mean the issue working with story albums is sometimes you have to prioritize the story over making good music, which just kind of sucks. And I feel like this is one of the songs in quotations that kind of suffered a bit from it. It's got a really nice
I mean,
fade at the end, but there's not really much going on for it other than that.
Yeah, it's one of the not quite. It's definitely not.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the weaker songs, I feel, and definitely repetitive.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm
Just
gonna
have
feed
some,
Sam's ego a little bit and say the forbidden word, repetitive.
Yeah.
Only
Don't worry, I
Sam's allowed
had
to
that written
repeat that
down for
word.
this one too.
In case you forgot.
I don't write it for every song, just the ones that are repetitive, and this
That's
one
true.
is repetitive.
I'll if that's all we have to say on Christian's Inferno, we can move on to the last song of part 1. Track number 7, Last Night on Earth.
Oh
And
my
this
lord!
one is a ballad, I'd say, full-on ballad. Twinkling piano,
Yeah.
strumming acoustic, laid-back percussion, and some of those good Billy Joel vocals on there again.
Billy Joel.
You might want to stop saying that. We're gonna confuse people.
Yeah, Billy Joel Armstrong,
Oh my god!
the best singer in the game.
This isn't like something you'd expect out of Green Day that would work, but it works. I love the
Oh, it
electric
works
guitar
so
and the
well.
whammy pedal. It's like super smooth.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
got
the vi-
And I love like the changes in the chorus, the wording changes. Like the final chorus had a wording change, and I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's got a nice bit of echo on the vocals, kind of giving it that ethereal feeling. And then when the muted electric guitar comes in, has the reverb to continue giving that light feeling, but still use the electric guitar. Oh,
Yeah, the vibe on this album, on this song in particular, is it goes off. It's a very good. It definitely gives you this kind of emotions, even if you don't even if you're not following the story, which I wasn't really in particular.
I didn't know it was a story album.
Yeah, exactly. You can still you can feel the emotion behind this song, and that rising, falling electric guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It hits you.
I especially love that piano play out at the end. Oh, ooh, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually like a nice little bookmark to the end of the act. It really signals, okay, we're moving on to the next chapter.
You really got
More so than
down.
It's almost like the next side of a record or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so speaking of which, if you guys are ready, we can move on to that next side of the record, Act 2, Charlatans and Saints, which starts with track number 8, East Jesus Nowhere.
And oh my lord, I love this song.
Yeah, this one is
like easily the edgiest on the entire album.
Yeah, this one hits the punk
I thought
hard.
you didn't like it.
And we will see how godless a nation we have become. As an opener is the most edgy and punk thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, this one is this one's pretty edgy, but it definitely leans hard into the punk sound. Which, given Green Day's a punk band traditionally, they're this kind of their wheelhouse.
I love the guitar riff in this song. It's played over and over again, so I guess Sam, it's repetitive, but it's a very solid guitar riff.
Oh yeah, I have no complaints about the individual instrumentals in any of this. It's just if they repeat them too much, and even then, it's instrumentals. I can forgive repetition a bit. It's vocals. Vocals are the player, especially when they're drawing so much focus on the vocals and all this. Repeating the same thing over and over again kind of feels bad. I don't know. But this one, it was a bit hard to hear the singing at the 2-minute mark because I feel like they brought the guitar way up in this one. I don't know if that was just me.
I mean, this is definitely going for a loud sound.
Yeah.
The instrumentation's really forward on this one, just to bring up that energy. Yeah, the vocals I don't think are as much as a focus on this song as in some of the past. There's like that one section where he's like whisper singing.
Yeah, I wish I could ban that.
Yeah.
Which
I love it.
I'm not a fan of whisper singing, and also ironically, that's like where the vocals have the most attention because the instrumentation kind of drops out a bit. But no, this one's a really rocking song.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first part, if I had to say, Act 1's a lot more kind of the pop rock sound, like you were saying, Matt.
Mm.
But here on out, we get at least more songs that are definitely going more punk.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah, you're the one that said it.
Yeah, so
I
that's
cannot see any more of these being punk-esque, really.
this
besides,
one is punk, but, like,
some in Act
Peacemaker is
3.
not
No,
punk.
no more in Act 2. I don't see any more that are punk-esque. And this one isn't even that punk-esque.
This one's
I'm
pretty
saying punk-esque comparatively.
Okay, fair enough.
on the very objective punk scale.
This one's pretty punk.
Mm.
But later on, when the guitar is carrying the vocal line near the end, there's that bit of half step in the beat. You guys pick up on that?
It's like a march vibe.
No. When I say half step, I mean half note, like we were talking about last week, Cooper.
Oh, like the Spanish vibe?
Yeah.
Indian vibe? Yeah, I caught that a little bit.
Sorry, quarter step notes. That's what I meant.
I caught that a
Very nice.
little bit, but yeah, it's a nice ending, and then it kind of explodes to one last chorus at the very end.
Yeah,
which I like. Keeps you on your toes.
The chorus is really nice, and I like it. I like when they slow it down after the fast. It sounds really good, but then there's that weird fade right at the end that kind of felt out of place.
A fade?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like right before the last kind of explosion of sound?
Maybe. This is a long album. I can't. I've only listened to this song twice.
I don't think. Yeah. So.
It basically like it just fades and then like the sound comes in one last time.
I think I'm talking about right at the very end, but.
At the very end, it's explosive, and then it leads right into the next song.
Yeah, it's literally there's no break in between this one and Peacemaker.
Maybe I'm talking about before the explosion then. Maybe I thought the songs changed. I don't know.
Oh, that may have been it, because it does kind of sound like a change. But it does then go straight into track number 9, Peacemaker.
That's definitely got some Spanish.
This one's got some Spanish vibes to it.
It has the quarter step again in it, which I always love.
Super high energy acoustic, and then a nice electric guitar solo. That I really like how the first 2 notes of the guitar solo like slow down really like a lot, and then it picks right back up into the faster pace.
Oh yeah, it's also got some. I also like the bass on the song as well, because like dum bum 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 bum. It's almost got like it's kind of like a dark edged kind of like a beach song sound to it, which I guess is just that Spanish influence again. And I really like the acoustic, and also. If you kind of notice throughout the song, there's kind of like a building violin as the song goes on.
Yeah.
Like in the first chorus, you can barely make it out, but by the second chorus, like it's full on violins going on in the song.
Yeah. Yeah. The instrumentation on this one was amazing. I feel like the vocal work. It felt like the vocals were still trying to be the forefront, but they weren't doing nearly as much as what was going on underneath. And I feel like the focus should have been more on that kind of. Guitar and strings going on underneath, as opposed to that kind of lackluster vocals. I feel.
I don't think they were lackluster, but they definitely weren't Billy's best on this album.
I would call that lackluster.
Oh, okay. I guess I did disagree with you.
No, I think you're wrong. However, I agree with what you say.
I do like the part where he says a grenade really loud, though, at the end.
I don't think I caught that.
When he goes, grenade.
It's serenade.
Oh, serenade, whatever. He says nade very loud.
Hearing what you want to hear.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, that is nice, yeah. I think, I mean, what Sam's saying, like, I agree with what he's saying, but I didn't think it was bad.
No, I don't think it's bad. I like the instrumentation line much more than the vocal line in this one.
I think that's good. The instrumentation definitely focus on this song more.
But it felt like they were still trying to draw more focus to the vocals. I don't know. That might just be me.
I think that might just be Billy Joe. His voice is kind of cuts through.
Yeah.
So that might just be the nature of his voice.
That's quite possible.
Plus, they didn't know the lyrics of the song, I guess, until the day where they recorded it or something. So
that's got to make it hard.
That probably didn't help.
Jump into track number 10 then. Last of the American Girls.
There's only one left, guys.
Only one.
This is it. And yeah, this one's definitely keeps it simple in terms of like guitaring.
My biggest issue with this one was I really like the melody of the vocals on this one, but I'm not always a huge fan where they take the melody and kind of repeat the same melody, but just change the vocals and then go back into the melody, which is the same lyrics and same melody. It gets kind of repetitive if there's not too much going on. I mean, it helps because I really like the progression of it, but it feels like there's room for this song to grow. Like I wish there was more to it than just what there is, you know?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I catch what you're saying because the song was very dynamic lyrically and instrumentally.
Oh yeah, the instruments totally help it, but I'm saying like I'm not saying he repeats the lyrics. I'm saying he's repeating the lyrical melody too much, you know?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with Sam on this one. This song, I'm not quite sure because it did change it up a bit, but the overall vibe of the song was very I don't know, it didn't bring too much to the table, I felt. Like I'm not sure if Billy's vocals matched as much with this song as it has with last songs. Like he's still a bit yelly on it, even though the song's got a slightly chiller vibe.
I think he didn't sound like he was yelling at all.
No, not yelling, but yell-y.
Yell-y. I don't quite understand then. So he's not yelling, but he's yelly.
Like it's got that it's hard to describe. Do you know what I'm getting at, Sam?
No, I think we have two different complaints.
Oh.
I just wish there was more to this one. Like I really like the initial melody.
Like you wanted something different in the next verse than was in the previous
exactly.
verse.
When each verse is the same melody but changing the vocals. I'm glad that he's changing the vocals. God help us if he didn't change the vocals. But when every verse is the same melody, it gets really repetitive even when you change the lyrics. But
well, Sam, do I got a genre for you? It's called punk rock. You'll hate it.
Probably right. I mean, the guitar underneath this helps quite a bit. It's always rocking out and changing, and it's really nice. It's just, I think it's because of how much I liked the initial melody the first couple times I heard it, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like it's going to build to something more, but then it never did. It just kind of left me wanting.
I can agree with that sentiment there. I'm kind of on the same track. Like the layering guitars are nice, but it's got like a so-so guitar solo in the middle, and it doesn't feel.
The guitar solo was great, huh?
I mean, I said so-so. I didn't say bad. I just feel like of the guitar solos on this album,
it's great though.
Well, I mean,
it's great though.
Well, that's a compelling argument, but no.
Well, I'm convinced.
I feel like we'll just keep fighting. We keep talking about America. So we can jump on to track number 11, Murder City. Murder City.
Now I was talking to this one to Cooper about this one before. It was really odd how instead of saying Murder City, they actually sang Magic City, and it sounded quite a bit like the Gorillaz too. It was darndest thing.
Doesn't Gorillaz have a song called Magic City?
Yeah, that's the joke I'm trying to make here, Cooper.
Oh, I get it.
No, but I really like the transition from the previous song to this one. The speed up is super satisfying. This is one of the better transitions on the album, I think. The one, what was it? The one into, I can't remember. It might be this one. But the speed up is super satisfying, and then it launches straight into amazing drum work, which has been consistent across the entire album.
Pretty cool.
Never detracted from any component whatsoever. Always a positive, and it's great at keeping the pace of the songs. This one, for some reason, this song was like, man, the drums have been amazing throughout this whole album.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows off here. I think it's just because with how high energy it goes, it kind of hits you right in the face.
Yeah.
Especially with that, like you said, the build up. When it was only the drums,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of automatically drawn attention to it. Trey Cool.
Trey, cool.
The legend
I agree.
himself.
I didn't have too much to say on the song other than the lyrics were very well written for what they were trying to get across with the story.
And what were they trying to get across with the story, Matt?
This song in particular seemed like it was after some kind of riot happened causing mass casualties. And it really instilled a sense of hopelessness after if you're like inciting a riot and you came back utterly defeated with a lot of casualties, you'd feel very hopeless.
Hmm.
And that's kind of the feeling I got from listening to these lyrics.
Yeah, the one thing I got, it gets a little repetitive at the end.
Oh, well, yeah.
There it is.
But I didn't notice it until like the very last one. So it wasn't that bad at all. It was just like the last, when they sang the last repetition, I was like, this has been going on for a bit, and then it ended. So I was like, oh, okay.
But I really do like the energy of this song.
Yeah.
It keeps it up right off the bat, keeps going. And I like Billy's vocals that kind of have, I think, a particularly gravelly nature on this song, which kind of fits into that kind of desperate energy it's going for. I mean, he literally says the word desperate like 80 times on this song. So
Yeah.
Also, side note, I just like the way he like pronounces desperate. Desperate.
Desperate. Very enunciated.
Enunciated.
Enunciation is important.
It is.
Jump into track number 12 then, if you guys don't have anything else.
Oh, no. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Viva la Gloria. Again.
Question
but this time
mark.
question
Yeah,
marks.
you have to ask it like a question.
How do
Viva la Gloria?
well okay, Tim
Like
Allen.
that.
But what about the question? Does the question mark at the beginning do anything?
No, it's just a question.
Why do Spanish languages write like that? Why do they put the upside down exclamation and question mark at the beginning?
So you know what the nature of this is before you even start reading it.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
I see.
Yeah, you could have gone into this thinking it's an exclamation point with the wrong energy. Then right after that, you're like, oh, okay, it's going to be a question. I know what I get from this sentence.
Fair enough. I really
Anyway,
sorry, go ahead, Matt.
about the song.
Yeah,
I
that.
want to talk about Spanish some more. You ever notice that English and Spanish have a lot in common? No, sorry, go ahead.
All the same letters.
What really gripped me about this song was the really creepy ass piano and like lyrics going with it at the beginning.
You didn't like the piano? It's like a harpsichord.
No, I said what really like
He
gripped
liked
me,
it.
like
Oh,
pulled it.
sorry, I
liked
misheard
it
you.
a lot.
Yeah, it's got like
I
a,
really like the song. Yeah.
I had you guys turn down quite a bit in my headphones because if I lean into the mic, it picks up my headphones. So you guys are talking very quietly in my ears.
we'll whisper a little bit, just sort of like right in your ear.
Please don't.
But yeah, this one does open like very softly with that kind of old timey piano. It almost sounded like a glockenspiel at first,
No,
but it's definitely a piano.
harpsichord, Cooper. Harpsichord.
Harpsichord, same difference.
Glockenspiel is that little thing with the metal bars. It's a metal xylophone
Oh, okay, yeah.
that you played in like elementary school.
harpsichord. I played the triangle, but
In high
and
school.
then of course, like most of the songs that have this kind of soft opening, it goes in with that electric guitars and drums to pick up all the energy.
Mhm.
This one kind of has a darker, kind of almost playful feel.
I got
Like it's
kind of like
sinister.
deserty vibes from it for some reason. Maybe it's the
Okay.
Spanish influence. I don't know.
I don't know. I definitely picked up on like the darker, playful, kind of like a horror movie kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't get that
Yeah.
at all. I felt desert.
Well, I mean, you are kind of correct. It desert, as in like this song speaks about kind of like abandonment.
No. The physical location, like the Sahara
Well, I think you're just dumb then.
I do like desserts; they're tasty.
desert. No, one S,
Desert.
Cooper, one S.
But this is I don't know. I definitely got more of the, like Matt was saying, the kind of creepy, playful vibe where it's almost like something went wrong, but like whoever's talking about it's kind of taking a little bit of joy in it for some reason.
Maybe I was thinking about the harpsichord too much throughout this.
There's old desert harpsichords.
Yeah.
The Egyptians were famous for them. And then there's also I really like the guitarless solo that comes in too.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's got-
combined with the people singing at the end with such high
with
notes.
the whoa-ohs.
Yeah.
Though it's got I can't put my finger on it, but the guitar solo has a recognizable melody. I can't tell if it's from earlier in the album because it also plays in during 21 Guns as well. Where it's got this very... Let me see if I can remember the melody. It's the one that goes. It goes the one that goes da da na da 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 na 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 na. It goes with that melody.
That was Full House.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's where I recognized it from. Okay.
I did not pick up the Full House melody in this one. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just me.
Everywhere you look, everywhere.
Oh no, that guitar solo is ruined for me now.
I'm pretty sure this is not the Full House melody.
No, it's not. I'm just saying the guitar solo melody on the song has that melody. Okay, it doesn't matter. I just knew I recognized it somewhere.
Okay. But again, this one, the lyrics are good, but they just feel the vocals feel a bit lacking again. I don't know. I feel like I want more. Like there's power and energy in previous songs that aren't brought to this one, which might be style choice, but or style choice for story. But like I said, going into this, I didn't realize it was a story album. So I was like, man, I wish they did this like they did before. Or at least brought some of that energy.
This felt pretty energetic.
Yeah,
I think
just something about it felt lacking to me. I don't know.
Oh, I'm opposite. I like the vibe this song brought.
Something vague felt lacking to me. Yes.
Well, I mean, music. To be fair to Sam, music's a very
I get it. Music, like
medium, so it's kind of sometimes hard to put into words.
Hey, at least I didn't hear Full House in the guitar solo.
Okay, Sam, I was defending you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is even okay. When we get to the next time it plays, I'll tell you the time code, and
I'll go listen to it afterwards. Yeah,
you'll see.
I'll distinctly listen for Uncle Joey talking in the background.
But I guess moving on to the last track of Act 2, track number 13, Restless Heart Syndrome. What do you guys think of this one?
I really like this one. It had a super nice piano opening that was kind of suggested as sad and slow, kind of like a storytelling format. But then it completely turned on your head and went super hard guitar with a nice whammy pedal solo.
Whammy pedal.
I love the opening with the piano and strings again. Billy Joel sounds amazing singing with them.
Oh yeah, this might be his best vocal performance on the album.
I don't know about that, but
it's definitely up there.
It's
definitely one of my
sure.
It's one of my favorites so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of keeps even when obviously when the percussion and electric come in, as they do on these songs, it still kind of keeps that kind of melancholic disposition throughout it, even with the energy, which I like how it manages to maintain that emotion, even whenever Trey and Mike come in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this one. The back half, I really love the first half, but the back half, something just doesn't do it for me. I don't know whether it was like fatigue due to, no offense, Matt, but most of these songs sound pretty dang similar.
They really don't.
I'm disagreeing with you
in
on
terms
that
of energy.
A heavy disagree.
In terms of energy and driving beat and that kind of thing.
Murder City, Last of the American Girls, Last Night on Earth, Ishi's Nowhere. You can't say they all have the same energy.
I'm not saying they all sound the same, but there have been several with this energy and style so far, and I'm wondering if it's a bit of fatigue.
Soft into hard?
No, just the hard part.
Just thought.
It left me wishing that there was more substance to it, brought something new. Because in previous ones, it's done a very good job, and later on, does a very good job of layering. Like something, they'll start with something, and then he'll sing, and then they'll switch to the hard rock, and then they'll throw another instrument in, kind of spice things up. This one didn't really have that, I felt.
Well, it went from a nice piano, right? And then they
went from soft to hard.
The acoustic guitar, and then they they did add things throughout and then went super hard with the electric guitar, and I really liked how they went from the whammy pedal solo and kind of it sounded like they redid it with the second solo they did. I don't even know if you'd call it a solo, but it was kind of like a similar chord progression but choppier and not kind of meld together, I guess, like the solo. I don't know how to describe it.
Something about the second half of this song just didn't do it for me.
I mean, I can understand how it's like
just like something vague about this song.
Hey, that's what music is, Matt. That's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz. Stop saying that. No, but I do really like the way this song ends. When it's just like the percussion and electric kind of doing a color and response type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just
exactly.
really powerful note, which is I like because it's kind of how Last Night on Earth kind of has a very mellow ending. This one has a very high energy ending, which I think makes sense going into the next act, which is mostly high energy.
Oh yeah.
And I think this song, contrary to some people's opinions, actually does do a good job of differentiating itself. This one's definitely one of the better songs in the album, I feel.
Oh, I concur, Cooper. Mr. Cooper.
I felt like this was a skip it one.
Oh, no one asked you, Sam.
Well, this is my show, Matt. So.
Oh, you mean I'm the host?
That is, I actually did get Matt hosting abilities before you got on, Sam. Sorry.
I'm running the stream from my computer. How does that work?
I gave him your.
You're our technician. We're the hosts.
Okay. Jump into Act 3 then. Horseshoes and hand
grenades.
Now,
definitely
before we get into the
most punk rock.
Yeah, before we get into the song, whenever I hear this reminds me of my 6th grade math teacher, because
Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong.
No, Mr. Murphy. That's what his name was. Thank you. You actually unlocked that memory.
No, you're welcome.
But whenever somebody would get really close on a problem, they'd be like, well, don't I get 8 points for being close? He's like, the only time being close matters is in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yep. And I always think of him when he says that. He also had Murphy's Law on his wall because his last name was Murphy.
Oh,
I get it.
Yeah. Jump into track 14.
So this one we're dedicated to Mr. Murphy.
Rest in peace.
I hope you're listening right now.
There's no way. We have 5 listeners. 2 of them are me. 1 of them is Matt. And then it's Jonah and Pratik. So I don't think Mr. Murphy's listening.
Wait, Jonah Murphy? No, okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, but track 14, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
I already said that, Cooper.
I'm saying it again because this one might be the most punk song on the album. Can we all agree on that one?
I just said that.
Okay, someone else talk. I'm obviously.
That's my property. Do not steal.
So to properly throw a horseshoe, you're going to want to make sure both of your feet are planted firmly on the ground. But no, I really like the hard rock and intro for this one. The energy matches the energy of the lyrics. They come out all guns blazing for this one. It's super, super high energy. Love it.
Yeah, if you want a high energy headbanging kind of song,
yeah,
it's the one on the album.
And this does do the thing I was complaining about earlier, but I'll put a button here as I explain. It does the repeating new lyrics with the same vocal line over and over, but this one feels much more natural in the song, and I think it's probably because it's much shorter. Not song length, but shorter melodic lick, you know? So there's not, it doesn't give you time to hate it. And it feels...
And it's a good melodic lick.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It just does it better, I think, than the previous song. And it sounds, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, it sounds like he's got a lisp at like the 2:30 mark when he says destruction. Did you
Well, that's because he has a filter over his voice.
I know he has a filter, but it sounds like a lisp.
I mean, during that time, it almost has that distortion sound that almost kind of sounds like screaming when it's like going out. So maybe that's something to do with that.
Screaming, but I thought he was saying destruction.
No, I'm not saying there's a screaming sound, but like the distortion kind of, has that kind of a screamy quality, which I liked. Add a lot of character to this.
Yeah.
Some edge to my song. Yeah, sweet edge.
But I'll have to listen back to what you're trying to talk about, Sam, because I haven't picked it up, and it might bug me now after 10 years of listening to this.
It's right at the 2:30 mark, just about. So I always like to try and give the time markers so people can go and listen to them in their own time.
Oh, in free time.
Yeah, free time. Listen to it. Figure out if it ruins it for you.
You can never listen to Green Day again.
Yep.
Fight worse than death. And we can move on to track number 15 here, The Static Age. The Static Age.
Oh, crap.
And it actually starts with a little bit of static sound effect.
That's a 3.
Yeah.
Which I do like.
It sticks to the theme.
The theme that it just established right then. I feel like this one's one of the more standard songs on the album.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Not like bad, but it's like, eh.
And it feels bad because this one was like, oh, it feels like there's a lot of story in this one.
Yeah, the lyrics are very heavy in this one, especially if you listen. Kind of like messages about how industry are making things, like the progression of industries and stuff is making things kind of weird, like billboards on the rise and then the Dawn's landscape, Coca-Cola execution. And then one of my favorite lines is, all I want to do is I want to breathe, batteries are not included. That was just kind of a cool line.
That's I'm sorry, Matt, but that just makes me think of like, oh man, this is so deep.
I mean, I don't think
I didn't think the lyrics were deep. I thought they were cool in what the message was trying to get across. Yeah. I don't think they were deep.
I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't listen too much to the lyrics as well. But yeah, this one's kind of standard. I do like during the song just like this build up and kind of a key change that goes into it, which I don't really remember any other key changes occurring on this album. So I guess that sets it apart a little bit. But still, it's a pretty box standard song.
I feel like the stripped back guitar line on this one doesn't really help it all that much. It's kind of that way up until about the 2:30 mark again. Just a bit kind of there. Not bad, but certainly not to the same standard as previous songs have been.
Yeah. All right, I'd agree with that one. You agree, Matt?
I agree. This is a pretty standard sounding song, though I do I feel like a lot with if there's any weaker songs on this album, they still get stuck in your head somehow at some point. So, yeah.
I feel like that might just be you, though, Matt.
After listening to this album like 100 times over 10 years.
Yeah, you've been listening to this for a while.
Oh, if you say so. I'm basing it off of also when I originally went into it. I remember having the opinion like, oh, Static Age didn't seem that great, but then I also remember it being stuck in my head for a while for no reason.
No, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. There's another album I've been listening to this week that one of the worst songs got stuck in my head for a bit. So
catchy doesn't necessarily mean good.
Yeah.
So. But we can move on to track number 16 then. 21 Guns. I'm pretty sure this is the most popular song.
Pretty much my notes are it's 21 Guns, everyone likes that.
Yeah, on the album. Even I knew this song.
I think I've heard of this song before listening to it. I'm not sure.
It's probably, let me confirm on Spotify, but I think it's one of their most played songs. Yeah, this one's got like 250 million plays on Spotify.
Wow.
So,
and I don't mean this in a bad way, but this feels nothing like any of the other songs that we've had for a bit anyway. I kind of compared it to like eating a piece of ginger after sushi. A nice bit of a palate cleanser before moving on to the final songs. It felt kind of the black sheep, but not in a bad way, you know?
Yeah, it's got like, it's definitely, I don't know, I'm the same with you where it's like got a different vibe.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a sad boy song, but it's also got like a uplifting melody too.
Yeah, it compared to the rest of the album so far, it's like, okay, this is kind of the bit of relax a little bit before we really launch into the end. So that's odd to think that it's one of their highest played songs.
I think it's just because the chorus is so catchy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the songs, this one's been stuck in my head the most.
I don't really remember it, so.
Yeah, well.
But I will say I really appreciate it being more chilled. I really like their slow stuff, because if this was a 5-minute song with the power that the previous songs have had, it would have gotten real tiring. Not due to being bad, but just having that high energy over that sustained period, it kind of tires you out.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been a little weird to do a whole kind of rock opera kind of thing right at the end, where they do slow, fast, and then a ballad over the 5 minutes, kind of like they did at the beginning.
Also, and I just want to say this now, so I can get at 3:20 on this song, that Full House theme comes in again.
I'll write this down. So at 3:20 on 21 Guns.
21 Guns. They play, or actually starts at 3:15. Sorry.
3:15. Okay, 3:15. Yeah. Full House.
Full House.
I still don't believe you.
Anyone out there listening, listen to it.
Now, before I go listen to this and possibly embarrass you later, are you sure your parents weren't watching? Oh, you don't live at home. Are you sure your roommates weren't watching Full House in the background? Did you have another tab open?
What, my tabs with the Full House theme on them? No,
maybe you're watching Full House on Netflix and you tab back in to listen to the album.
No, I was watching Fuller House. It's a completely different show. No, this is in the song.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I'll go check on that as soon as we
finish. Believe you me.
I'm not sure.
But going back to the actual song, I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a nice juxtaposition of hard guitar with soft vocals for the chorus.
Oh yeah.
Like I wouldn't think that would be a good combination, but it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Very
well done.
I think it works especially with because of Billy's kind of vocal stylings. He can cut through even with softer vocals, so it works. Yeah, if that's you guys good with this song then?
Yeah.
We can move on to track 17, American Eulogy. Let parentheses A, Mass Hysteria / B, Modern World, right parentheses.
Is my screen large enough to hold all of this text? Oh crap, no it is not. All right, let's split this up.
Hey, this is a Christian Minecraft server. Watch the language.
Yes, please. PG. For guitar.
So apparently because you guys don't like listening to lyrics, and even though I told you this was a rock opera, which means a story,
you did not say that this was a rock opera.
I did. I said it so many. We could go into the chat logs.
He did say it at least.
I said it multiple times.
I'm going to check that right now because I don't believe you.
And did he cut out? Is he there?
I think he did. I think he's dead.
Did I cut? Anyways. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, just a little bit.
But anyways, he says the N-word in this song, which is kind of weird.
Oh,
I did not hear that.
I did not catch that. Wow. Wait,
the class war is hanging on a wire because compulsive liar when he said it's just a bunch of things throwing gas into the
I don't think Billy Joe Armstrong is black. I haven't checked.
But I don't think so either.
Huh. This came out in 2009?
Yes.
Oh, well. Hashtag cancel Green Day.
Oh, you know what, Matt? You did say it, but it was in your wall text that I didn't read because you sent up a follow-up text saying, let's just do this album. So I didn't bother reading the previous text.
I mean, I've said in conversations beforehand that it was a rock opera. But anyway, off topic.
No, but going into this song. This one's like, so it starts with the singing from the very beginning of the album, Song of the Century. Brings back that little ditty. And then it doesn't really build on it. It's just kind of tacked onto the beginning.
Yeah, I did not like that transition between the opening and then launching straight into a song that feels in all ways completely different than the opening.
This is the one I was talking about when I said it just kind of hard cuts to Mass Hysteria. Mass Hysteria and Modern World actually blend together pretty well. They're kind of different songs, but they're similar enough. I can see why they made them into one song.
Yeah.
But I do like how the choruses from both of the songs, they sing them one last time, and they kind of like meld together.
Yeah, that was really nice. And
through a single chorus.
There's in the beginning half, there's the kind of focus, or not, sorry, there's the the breakdown with the acoustic guitar, which was a really nice way to kind of divide up the song, even though it wasn't really dividing the two songs. It was in the middle of Mass Hysteria, but it was really kind of gave the feel like, oh, where's the song end kind of thing.
Yeah. And also the song Mass Hysteria had a very catchy hook.
Yeah.
Mass Hysteria, Mass Hysteria.
Yeah,
Maybe want to flip something over.
But in Modern World, also I like the part where he says, "I can hear the sound of a beating drum," and it cut out to only the drums, and then kind of like a very heart rhythmy guitar and drums playing at the same time. So I thought was neat.
Who was that other singer?
I'm pretty sure that was Mike Dirnt.
That was really jarring, bringing in a new singer on the second to last song.
Oh yeah.
He's not like a new, but okay. I understand if you don't listen. Like American Idiot had Mike Dirnt singing a lot, and
treating this as its own, as separate from everything else. You listen to how many 16 songs before this, and it's all Billy Joel, and then at the end of the second to last song,
they bring in Mike Dirnt.
Some other dude.
Not that he's a bad singer, but it's definitely
he was a very good
got
singer.
a very recognizable voice.
It was like, oh, what? Who is this? How'd you get in here?
Who are you?
Green Day featuring Green Day.
Yeah, exactly. And then right at the end, I really like the beeps and the boops going on in the background at like 3:45.
The Morse code type thing that was going on.
Yeah, right at the end there was Morse code. I wonder what's being said. Do you know, Matt? Have you looked this up before?
No.
Well, somehow you are.
It's probably more likely that means something than them coding in their sound with with an image or whatever you were trying to talk about earlier.
There was no results for that. I'm gonna have to find a time code and send it to you because it drove me crazy throughout the album. It just kept dimming for no reason. And no, I didn't have any tabs open that would be playing sound.
That would be sucking away the sound.
Yeah, I'm listening on a computer. I don't get notifications that dim my sound at the same point every song.
Well, I didn't notice them, but this Morse code probably means something. I guess. And then I guess while you're doing that, we can transition into our final song of the album. We're here at the end, guys. Track number 18, See the Light.
It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
It really is.
And it is, it seems like one of the common songs.
Yeah, this was, frankly, a terrible way to end an album.
I don't think it was a bad way to end the album. I don't think there was anything phenomenal about it, but it was a good way to end the album. It began like 21st Century Breakdown and ended with the same guitar strumming higher to lower, like it just like fading off how it faded in.
I suppose, but the song itself is pretty mediocre.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's kind of a shame to, if you were into your rock opera, you kind of want to end it on that. But this one's kind of like, it's not a bad song.
I think the lyrics and the message in it were a nice way to end it, but I do definitely agree that overall, at least instrumentally and how the composition of the song was, very mediocre.
And what were the what were the messages, Matt?
It was more of like the ending is in the hands of fate, kind of deal, and kind of trying to still find hope. Because it sounded like towards the end, things did not end well for the rebels. Things very much did not end well.
So, jumping back real quick to American Eulogy, the Morse code at the end says, "We are the class of 13."
Yes. Oh, class of 13, yeah.
Like 2013?
What does that mean, Matt?
Yeah. So, okay. So he mentions the class of 13 a lot in 21st Century Breakdown, in I'm trying to find them in my notes, but I cannot read, so I will not find them. But he does mention class of the 13 a lot. It's supposed to reference like kind of our generation that's getting fucked. Or I'm sorry.
Whoa, Matt! Whoa!
Matt,
I need a beep button. I don't have a beep button here.
He said fudged over, guys.
He said fudged.
Yeah, so being screwed over by, well, to be frank, boomers. So the class of 13 is actually the class that his son is graduating from high school. Like, he's the class of 13. So it's supposed to be like...
So doesn't that make him a boomer?
No, he's born in 1972, whenever Nixon was in office.
That's
I'm
a
not disagreeing that like he's not, but in this album, the way he phrases it, he's on the beginning of not boomers, like the very beginning.
Okay, yeah, he's. It depends. There's generations are stupid anyway. Nobody agrees about anything.
But like you get the overall message of what that means. The class of 13.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Then the song kind of ends with this kind of faded out distortion, which at the very least feels like an ending.
Yeah, it fades out for over 30 seconds though. I don't think that doesn't feel like a good way to end an album to me. I feel like if they had just kind of tied it up nice and neat with American Eulogy, sure they would have lost a little bit of the message, but kind of having the very start of the album and the very end of the album start the same way, kind of would tie it up in a nice neat little bow. This one kind of just felt tacked on, even if it does convey quite a bit of good story.
I just think you would appreciate more if you actually listened to the lyrics like I do.
Well, you know what, Matt? It's hard to listen to the lyrics when we haven't listened to it 100
Sam,
times.
remember when we played Magic? I was like, oh, Sam, you should probably start this early because the lyrics are important to this. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Matt, I listened to it twice. That's more than some. This is over an hour album. That's a lot of time.
Sam, I think you listened to the album
in a few days.
Oh, no.
I listened to this album 3 times this week.
Here, we can argue about the album ratings later. But in the meantime, I think we should go into saying our favorite and least favorite songs from. How about that?
Fine.
Matt, why don't you start us off?
Start us off. Okay. So, I mean, finding a favorite and all difficult. I kind of had to like think, okay, what were my favorites for the longest time span? Because a lot of them are like mood. Because Last Night on Earth, depending on your mood, that could be your favorite. But I have to say, overall, my 3 favorites that are tied kind of are 21st Century Breakdown, East Jesus Nowhere, and Restless Heart Syndrome. Because if I had to say, 21st Century Breakdown just overall is an extremely strong song, both lyrically and just how instrumentally it was. East Jesus Nowhere went really hard. I just love the guitar riff and the melody. Like it tickles me. And also it's extremely edgy, so that's nice.
Huh.
And then Restless Heart Syndrome, I just loved this. Like when I first listened to this, and it was really soft, and then it led into just completely turned the tables into a super hard guitar solo. That gave me goosebumps and was really nice. So those are my 3 favorites.
Matt, did you ever wear mascara when you had your comb over?
What?
Were you like emo, or were you just edgy?
I never dressed the part, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
No.
Just curious.
I didn't care too much about my looks and for the longest time, so I was just very generic. Matt.
That's hard to believe because you're beautiful.
You're a beautiful man, Matt.
What's your least favorite song?
Oh, my least favorite is Murder City. Though it can be. See, the reason I put Murder City is because when I was thinking about it, like I thought about it even before I restarted listening to it again this week, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to be like Christian's Inferno or See the Light. But when I re-listened to the album, I was like, I completely forgot about Murder City was even on this album. I was like, this is also, I felt an song, so I just put it there just because I completely forgot about it. Not like it's any really worse than See the Light or Christian's Inferno to me.
Okay.
You want to go ahead, Cooper?
Yeah, I'll go off. So I was looking for some favorite songs as well. I was actually favoring Act 1 in this instance, with I think my 2 favorite songs being Before the Lobotomy and Last Night on Earth. With Before the Lobotomy, I just really love the way that the 2 halves of the song kind of melted together in the end. Very a very synergistic experience that I thoroughly enjoyed. Each time I listened to it, it still impressed me. And Last Night on Earth is just such a mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Such a
I
ballad
know.
with the acoustic, the piano. I listened to it. I really like Billy's vocals on this one. And altogether, just keeps the energy laid back and still has this vibe going. So altogether, I like those the most. My least favorite will probably have to be The Last of the American Girls. This one, it was repetitive. I didn't like the hook that much. So guitar solo, vocals weren't the best. It was basically all the weak points of the album kind of compiled together to one song.
Yeah.
Not unlistenable. It's not a bad song. I don't think there's any complete duds on this album, but completely skippable in my opinion, both from a lyrical standpoint and I guess a story
Can't
standpoint
say
too.
that the electric guitar after the chorus, that mini solo it gets, isn't great.
I did say it was so.
All right.
Not my favorite, but
Fair enough.
And what about you, Sam?
So I really only had one favorite, and it leapt out at me the first listen. Even Last Night on Earth.
There we go.
I got into a mood of listening to slow songs, and then I think that stuck for like the past 2 years.
Oh wow, that's a long mood.
So it's nice and slow. It's got that beautiful piano. His vocal style really suits that kind of slow, laid back singing, and it's a nice cleanser and good end to an act. Least favorite, I got a 3-er, which is a bit much.
Whoa.
Again, Last of the American Girls.
Mm.
I felt like there was a lot of room for it to grow, which is a polite way of saying it didn't do a lot. Static Age was pretty lackluster. I was really looking forward to the last. I was like, the last act's pretty short. Some hard hitters as we exit. And Static Age definitely didn't meet up to those expectations. And then See the Light I was pretty unimpressed with it. And for ending the album, I think that kind of added to my disdain. So.
Okay.
But we can swap over to reviewing the entire album. And would you like to introduce the rating system, Tex Cooper, or shall I?
Oh, I can do it. So for those new to this podcast, we have a little bit of a different rating system. We kind of base it off conditions of a car, since audio shop. This is a car themed music podcast. And in this one, our least favorite would be a scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. Not the best. You can just kind of ditch this in the garbage and not listen to it again. To a showroom, which is this is the class act. This is a thing you're gonna keep coming back to, listening again and again and enjoying each time. And then if there's some differentiation, we might say it's like a high showroom or a low like new or something like that. So I guess to go first, we can start with you, Matt, as the guest. And what would you rank this album?
I would rank this album as a low showroom.
Ooh.
For me, I guess like a showroom, if it was a showroom, it would have to be every song was very strong and like could be listened to at any point. Like I feel for me, Milo Xyloto. I like this album more than Milo Xyloto, but Milo Xyloto I would rate as a showroom objectively. 21st Century Breakdown just had a few weaker songs for me, like See the Light, Christian's Inferno and Murder City. I don't really ever see myself saying, I want to listen to this song, whereas all the other songs, there's some point where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to specifically click on this song. So yeah, it's not to say that they're bad, they're just weaker, and I wouldn't say I'd intentionally click on them commonly.
And thus the low.
Yes.
But that's implying that, so this is an album that you shouldn't pass.
Yes.
There we go. And your rating, Sam?
I'm gonna have to give it a fixer-upper. It's not a bad album by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, not my cuppa. There's a couple songs that I'll probably come back to, like specifically Last Night on Earth. But other than that, there was nothing that was like, oh man, I can't wait to listen to that again. There's certainly some that have been earworms a little bit, but it's just not up my alley all that much.
Well, I'll have to go and split the difference on you two and go with a like new. Obviously, I'm not feeling as strong about it as Matt did, but I think its strengths far outweigh its weaknesses, especially for an album this long and a rock opera on that note. Those things can kind of cave in under their own weight, but I think this thing manages to stay afloat and doesn't really have any duds, impressively, out of its entire 18 tracks. I mean, there's mediocre songs, which is what kind of brings down to a like new. But it's an enjoyable listen all the way through. And I'd recommend it to anyone who's into rock in general, and Green Day especially. Though I guess if you're already into Green Day and you haven't listened to 21st Century Breakdown, that's kind of on you.
I feel like there's not too many people like that.
So yeah.
I disagree, Sam. Whenever I wear my Green Day shirt, everyone gives me compliments.
What?
But
Wait, you're saying there's not that many people who are into Green Day?
No, I'm saying the people that are into Green Day, I doubt they haven't listened to this album.
Ah.
They're not exactly real fans if they have.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say they're not real fans, but I feel like
they're not real fans.
They don't believe in Billy Joe.
I'm just saying I doubt they would be, if they were claimed to be fans of Green Day, I feel like they would have listened to this album.
They've only listened up to Dookie, and that's it.
I'm a true Green Day fan.
I only
know this new stuff, know this new age.
All right, well, that was 21st Century Breakdown by Green Day. Thank you, Matt.
This was our breakdown of 21st Century
Breakdown. Our breakdown of 21st
clever.
Wow, I like it.
But before we head out, we have our spare tire.
The spare tire.
Basically,
spare
anything
tire,
else you've been listening to this whole week, or it could be a song, could be an artist, could be a whole album. Just kind of whatever else you've been listening to that's kind of been stuck in your head or you've been coming back to over and over again. You want to start us off, Matt? If you have one.
Oh, yes, of course. So Green Day, on the topic, has a new tour with Fall Out Boy and Weezer called Hella Mega Tour. It's doing it next year. I already have tickets. I am broke. Anyway, I'm not broke, but it did put a major dent in my wallet. Anyway, with that, they also announced a new album to be released February 20th, I believe. And with that, a new single called Father of All ... I'm not allowed to say on the radio. And that song is so different from anything Green Day has made, and it sounded super nice, and I'm so into it.
Yes, I also listened to the song because Matt sent me the link, and obviously I hadn't listened to this album yet, so I wasn't able to appreciate the difference until after listening to this album, being like, wow, that's actually a real different sound than what they were going for before.
And I saw them live, and he actually, he can hit those high notes, consistently, and it was actually baffled my mind that he could sing exactly like that song, just without the slight distortion over it or whatever.
I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, that's the song. As for album, Starset, one of my other favorite bands, released a new album called Divisions. Starset, the lead singer, is an electrical engineer, really likes outer space, aerospace, and all that. So his first couple albums with Starset were all space themed. This one's more of kind of like a dystopian kind of theme to it.
Now, is this an electronic album, Matt?
They do a lot of it's definitely well, I mean, all three of the albums, yes, I feel like I would say electronic, heavy electronic. I don't know, he screams sometimes, and it is definitely got the synth in it, and they have some electric guitar and all that. So I would classify it kind of like that. Definitely this latest one, though, I can't say I'm too hooked on it, but also their second album, I didn't say I was too hooked on it, and then eventually became an album I listened to for 2 years straight. So I'm just gonna wait for it to sink in, maybe.
Well, fair enough.
How about you?
This is nothing. Well, this is a little aside, but also fun fact: Billy Joe Armstrong was voted the number one sexiest person in rock in 2008.
I find that difficult to believe. Jeff Lynne is in rock.
Okay,
Well,
so Jeff Lynne
have
is
you
like
seen
88.
Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong?
No, and I'm gonna look at him right now.
Definitely looks
Wait,
younger
no.
than 50, which is what he is. But my spare tire this week is actually just a song. It's called "Suddenly" by the band A Drug Dealer off their album "The Into Comedy."
Cooper, but drugs are bad.
No, it's the drug. The only drug they're dealing is music.
Who's
That's
it
the
by?
only high I need by Drug Dealer. The
Nerd.
song's called "Suddenly," and it's a very mellow, kind of jazz-infused song. This is definitely one to kind of lean back and just enjoy the ride, and let it take you with you. Just kind of ride along those waves. It's a very mellow song.
Take him for a ride. That was mine last week.
Oh, it was. So I'd highly recommend that song.
And I actually had the pleasure of discovering a whole new genre of music recently.
Ooh, what's that?
It's called
the
chap hop.
right.
And holy crap, do I absolutely love it. I've been listening to Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer, specifically his album Can't Stop, Shan't Stop. And it is an absolute banger of an album. I've been listening to it quite a bit, and I'm hoping we're going to be reviewing that here soon because, it's just too good not to share.
As long as something gets you into hip hop, Sam, I approve of it. And I have listened to a couple songs off of it since you were telling me about it earlier, and he's actually got some pretty good flow.
Now, my big complaint is he just released an album in 2019. I listened to the first little bit, and it's a much more songs rather than rhymes. So I got to give it another chance. I got to, sit down and listen to the whole thing. But I think the older stuff might be a bit better than his newer stuff.
It's actually, nowadays, it's pretty common for hip hop artists to release more melodic music. It's definitely been a trend in the back half of the 2010s.
I really like his rhyming, as it were, though.
His lyricism is definitely unique, given all his old-timey speak.
Quality content.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining us for, what was this, album 15, Cooper?
Album number 15.
Album 15 of Audio Shop.
15 more days.
As always, if you have any suggestions, if you go to our Twitch page, twitch.tv/Audio Shop, there's a little suggestion box where you can drop your little hint. This was this suggested by you, Matt?
This was.
I have 3 total suggestions. You guys have gone over 2.
Because you were the only one that...
Because I appear to be the only one who sends them.
Well, actually, what was it? Last week we did...
Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco was a recommendation by Anonymous.
That was by Anonymous.
So
was that you?
That could have also been me. No, I would not have recommended freaking whatever Prayer for the Wicked. I would never.
If we don't have anything that's really burning our biscuits to get on, we'll go there and pick something out. And as Matt is a close friend of ours, we brought him on.
Yeah, so feel free to leave a suggestion.
Yeah. And if you would like to know when we're going live, if something happens, say I stop at my grandma's and am not able to make it back in time for the podcast, as is what happened last week, you can follow us on Twitter. And what's that handle, Cooper?
It's going to be at AudioShop14. We'll give you updates about what album we're going to listen to and when we're going to be on. So keep your eye on that, and you'll know when to tune in so you can hear us on a weekly, a semi-weekly basis.
Usually weekly.
And
then if you're just now tuning in or you're listening to the VOD and you want to check out some more of our stuff, if you head to YouTube, and it's just Audio Shop on YouTube, all of our past streams are there, and these are done live. If you're listening to the VOD, come over to Twitch and give a listen, chat it up with some like-minded shop heads.
Are we going to shop heads from Shoppies?
I don't know. It just felt right. And you want to plug your stuff, Matt, even though everybody here already knows you.
Sure. You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch at Protoswarm. Yeah.
He was
I play Smite and Smash.
Number 4 in the world at Ori speedrunning.
I did that for like 80%. A year. Any percent Ori in the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. I was number 4. Sadly, they found... My peak was 4th. Now I'm down to 8th because they found a new route that cuts like a minute off everybody's time for free.
But I mean, you're still 8th. and that
I'm still eighth.
that cut's been out for a while now. So
Yes.
So Matt's the real deal.
Yeah.
The
All
best Ori and the Blind Forest speedrun Green Day enthusiast out there. You
Yeah,
heard it
that's
here
me.
first.
Actually, the number one speedrunner for Ori is Billy Joe
Billy Joe
Armstrong. So I think he's got you beat there, Matt. Sorry about that.
Wait, you can't be a fan of yourself. That's cheating.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today for Audio Shop. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday evening. It's getting a little bit late and ran significantly longer than normal, but that's
It was a long album.
long album, and a guest will do that. So
yeah, hope to join us next week for whatever album we decide to review.
and should hopefully decide on that here soon, so we can tweet it out.
And we will. I promise you that.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Good night, shop.
Later, shoppies.
Ah, damn.
Okay, I don't like that. Please go. Goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Shut her
Maybe
down.
I'll say at the same time.